They say the modern world is designed to make our lives easier, more connected, and more secure. We fill our homes with cameras, sensors, and smart locks, believing that technology will protect us from the dangers outside. But what happens when the greatest threat to your peace of mind isn't trying to break in, but is already living inside your house? Welcome back to One Knock Later. If you love stories where the truth is uncovered in the most unexpected ways and karma is served ice cold, you need to hear what happened to Daniel. Daniel was 37 years old, a highly successful cybersecurity consultant. He spent his days analyzing digital threats, building firewalls, and ensuring that massive corporations were safe from infiltration. He was analytical.com under pressure and deeply in love with his wife, Chloe. Chloe was 33, a rising star in the competitive world of pharmaceutical sales. She was charismatic, driven, and spent her weeks traveling across the state, pitching new medications to high-end clinics and hospital boards. Daniel admired her hustle. He loved that she was as ambitious as he was, and their shared goal was to retire by 50 and travel the world. Tumak Chloes. Life easier when she returned from her exhausting sales trips. Daniel had completely automated their large suburban home. Everything from the thermostat to the lighting to the security system was controlled by a centralized, state-of-the-art smart hub. He could unlock the front door from his office, set the mood lighting for dinner before he even pulled into the driveway, and ensured the house was perfectly secure when they were both away. He built a fortress for the woman he loved, completely unaware that she was using his own technology to hide her betrayal. The cracks in their perfect marriage didn't start with a lipstick stain or a mysterious late-night phone call. They started with a notification about the ambient temperature. It was a brutally hot Tuesday in late July. Chloe had told Daniel she was driving 3 hours north for a critical today pitch to a major regional hospital network. She kissed him goodbye that morning, complaining about the long drive and the pressure of the presentation. At 2 in the afternoon, Daniel was sitting in his downtown office, reviewing a complex security audit. His phone buzzed softly on his desk. It was an automated alert from their home's smart thermostat app. The notification read, "Climate control activated. Master bedroom cooling to 68 degrees. Daniel frowned. That was strange. He had set the entire house to away mode when he left that morning, which kept the temperature at an energy-saving 78 degrees. Why would the system suddenly drop the temperature in the master bedroom in the middle of the afternoon when nobody was home? He assumed it was a software glitch, a routine error in the smart hub's programming. To be safe, he logged into the home network's administrative panel from his work computer to run a diagnostic. In the world of cybersecurity, you are trained to look for anomalies, devices, or data packets that don't belong on the network. When Daniel pulled up the list of currently connected devices on his home Wi-Fi, his blood ran cold. There, nestled between his smart TV and the kitchen refrigerator, was an unrecognized device. It wasn't a phone or a laptop. The device name was clearly listed as Marcus's Apple Watch. Daniel didn't know a Marcus. He stared at the screen, the air slowly leaving his lungs. He didn't panic. His training kicked in. He needed to verify the breach. He opened the security camera app, intending to check the indoor cameras. But he realized with a sinking feeling that Chloe had asked him to disable the interior cameras months ago, claiming they made her feel anxious and watched when she was home alone. AID agreed, wanting her to feel comfortable. But she didn't know he had recently installed a discreet, Moshiach-activated dashcam in his own vintage muscle car, which was currently parked in the driveway facing the front porch. He accessed the dashcam's cloud storage. He didn't have to look far. The motion logs from 20 minutes ago showed a sleek, silver sports car pulling into their driveway. A man stepped out tall, athletic, wearing an expensive suit. And then, Chloe walked out of their front door to greet him. She wasn't wearing her professional sales attire. She was wearing a silk robe. She threw her arms around the man, kissing him deeply, before leading him back inside the house. The house that Daniel paid for. The house that Daniel had secured. Daniel sat in his office, the silence ringing in his ears. He wasn't just heartbroken. He was clinically, terrifyingly calm. He didn't rush home to catch them in the act. In his line of work, confronting a hacker while they are in your system only makes them destroy the evidence and disappear. You let them think they are safe. You gather every piece of data, and then you completely dismantle their infrastructure. He spent the rest of the afternoon building his case. He pulled the digital logs from the smart door lock, confirming that Chloe's unique passcode had been used to enter the house at 1:15 p.m. He pulled the IP logs, confirming the Apple Watch had been connecting to their network every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon for the past 4 months. Days Chloe claimed she was doing local client outreach. He had all the data. Now, he needed the perfect execution. He waited for Friday. Chloe had been talking nonstop about a massive corporate awards gala her pharmaceutical company was hosting that evening. She was nominated for Regional Rep of the Year, and it was the biggest night of her career. She had bought a $2,000 designer gown specifically for the event. Daniel put on his best tuxedo, smiled at his wife, and told her how incredibly proud he was of her hard work. They drove to the gala, held in the grand ballroom of a luxury hotel. The room was packed with hundreds of industry professionals, doctors, and corporate executives. Halfway through the dinner, it was time for the awards. The regional director took the stage, speaking glowingly about the dedication and tireless effort of their top sales reps. When he announced Chloe's name as the winner, the table erupted in applause. Chloe beamed, kissed Daniel on the cheek, and practically floated up to the stage to accept her crystal trophy. She stood at the podium, adjusting the microphone, looking out at the sea of her peers and superiors. "Thank you so much," Chloe said, her voice filled with feigned humility. "This award means everything to me. I spent so many hours on the road, away from my amazing husband, Daniel. His unwavering support and trust are the foundation of my success. I literally couldn't do this without him." As the crowd politely clapped, Daniel stood up from his table near the front. He didn't clap. He reached into his tuxedo jacket and pulled out a small, remote-controlled presentation clicker he had seen to the ballroom's massive projector screen earlier that evening, having isolated bypassed the hotel's basic AV security. "Chloe, your dedication is truly inspiring." Daniel's voice cut through the fading applause. He didn't have a microphone, but his tone was so sharp, so commanding that the room instantly quieted down. Chloe looked at him, her smile faltering slightly. "Daniel, what are you doing?" "I just wanted to share a small presentation of my own," Daniel said. His eyes locked on hers, "to show everyone exactly how hard you work when you're supposed to be on those long, exhausting sales trips." He pressed the button on the clicker. The massive projector screen behind Chloe, which had been displaying the corporate logo, suddenly flashed to life. A crisp, high-definition image filled the screen, 40 feet wide. It was a screenshot of the smart home router logs, with the ward's master bedroom cooling 2 p.m., and Marcus's Apple Watch connected highlighted in bright, glowing red. A murmur rippled through the ballroom. People squinted at the screen, confused. Daniel pressed the button again. The next image was a crystal-clear still frame from his dashcam. It showed Chloe, in her silk robe, passionately kissing the man in the expensive suit on their front porch. The timestamp in the corner read, Tuesday, 1:45 p.m., the exact time she was supposed to be 3 hours away, pitching to a hospital board. The silence in the grand ballroom was deafening. The only sound was the clinking of a dropped fork echoing across the room. The regional director, standing near the stage, looked absolutely horrified. Chloe's face drained of all color. She looked at the massive screen behind her, then back at Daniel, her eyes wide with sheer, unadulterated terror. The crystal trophy slipped from her trembling hands and shattered into a dozen pieces on the stage floor. "Her name is Chloe," Daniel said, his voice echoing in the dead-silent room. "She is an award-winning sales rep, and an even better liar. The man in the photo is Marcus, a cardiologist at one of her top client clinics. I believe that violates several of your company's ethical guidelines regarding vendor-client relationships." He turned to the stunned crowd. "Enjoy your evening, everyone. And Chloe." He looked back at his trembling wife on the stage. "I locked your smart keys out of the house system an hour ago. Your clothes are in garbage bags in the driveway. Don't bother coming home." Daniel turned his back on the stage, walked calmly through the parted sea of shocked executives and doctors, and exited the ballroom. He didn't look back. He didn't need to. He had dropped a nuclear bomb on her carefully constructed life and walked away without a scratch. Chloe lost everything that night. The pharmaceutical company, terrified of the ethical scandal and potential bribery implications with the cardiologist, fired her the very next morning. Marcus, the doctor, cut all ties with her to save his own career and marriage. She lost her 6-figure salary, her reputation in the industry, and a husband who had built a fortress to protect her. The smart home she used to hide her lies was the exact thing that locked her out in the cold. Thank you for tuning in to One Knock Later. If you love a story where technology serves the ultimate dish of karma, hit that subscribe button right now. Let us know in the comments would you have had the nerve to hijack the projector at a corporate gala. Stay sharp, trust your data, and we will see you in the next one.